Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 39 of the Nerdy Things podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin. I am joined, as always, by Jules. Hey, Jules.
Heyo.
And by Tim. What's going on, Tim?
Heyo.
Oh, God. Tim's back this week.
You can't both have the heyo.
I mean, what's up?
Oh, yeah,
Jeez.
Tim was not able to join us last week, but he has power back. So we are back together, the three of us, the Nerdy Boys. And we're looking to bring you some nerdy news for the week.
Some nerdy stuff from the Nerdy Boys. Yeah. So if this is your first time enjoying our podcast, either in video or audio form, you're welcome. And what do you say? Is that what you say, Tim? You're welcome? Or
No, congrats on listening.
Congratulations. Congrats on listening. There was a lot of congrats going on because we have a lot of new listeners. So thank you and really, really appreciate you. And if this is the first time that you hear from us or see us, we do a nerdy news segment at the beginning, and then we go into a main topic. And if you didn't guess already, the main topic this week is Thor Ragnarok, the new movie. And it's, oh man, I'm so excited to finally get to talk about it because I've been wanting to talk about it. And it's pretty exciting. So if you haven't seen it, you can still listen to the podcast up to the nerdy news and until we start talking about all that stuff. So you can definitely still keep listening. But first, I want to talk to you about something pretty cool. A sponsor we have this week from Espressivo Coffee right here in San Antonio, Texas, where I live. Espressivo Coffee is a locally owned barista musician-inspired cafe located in Southtown at 317 Pro Band inside a former residential space. Passionate about coffee and people, they source 100% direct trade, single origin coffee from Colombia via Cafecinato Coffee Co. and host monthly events showcasing local creatives and musicians alike. Stop in and mention the Nerdy Things podcast and receive 20% off your order. So again, go to Espressivo Coffee, mention that you heard about it in the Nerdy Things podcast, and you get 20% off your order. That's pretty simple. Espressivo Coffee is open Monday through Friday, 7 to 1, 5 to 10, and Saturday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. You can follow them on all social media. All that stuff is going to be linked in the description of this video or this podcast. So you can do all that stuff. Get some coffee. It's pretty good, and it sounds pretty, interesting. I don't know if I've ever had Colombian coffee or whatever, but I'm sure
Colombian coffee.
We also have a ton of new reviews on iTunes. If you want to leave us a review, that would be pretty awesome. That helps us out, and that helps more people find us and listen to us.
We think.
I'm going to read one right here. Yeah, we think. Most likely it works.
We're pretty sure.
It's our theory. We don't have a lot of exact science when it comes to iTunes or YouTube or how anybody finds us anywhere. But we've got some good guesses, and this is one of our top ones. So keep leading us reviews. We like them. It's fun.
So this one's from a Dr. Toboggan, a Dr. Mantis Toboggan. I
like
don't know if he
down
listened.
the hill?
My toboggan is sick. Oh, no, wait. Is it a toboggan that is a doctor?
Wait, is Dr. Toboggan or Dr. Did you say Mantis Toboggan?
Yeah, it's a Sunny reference.
Oh, okay. I was like, is this a doctor who's a mantis on a toboggan? I'm picturing this is a cartoon waiting to happen.
No, it's Always Sunny. He says he loves it. Excellent show. Keep it up. Short and sweet. Thank you so much, and congratulations on listening. Don't forget you can reach us. Yeah, right? That was pretty simple. Don't forget that you can reach us on social media at NerdyThingsPod. That's NerdyThingsPod. You can send us an email, nerdythingspod@gmail.com. Visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for the latest nerdy news, updated daily, and links to our merch for shirts and more. Links to YouTube to watch the podcast episodes because we do them in video now. Our Patreon for extra content like bloopers and early access to our stuff. You can text us or leave us a voicemail even at 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-78-63739. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate you. Yeah, I'm doing the thing, guys. Jesus Christ. Yeah, thanks for contacting us and following us on all that stuff. We're everywhere. You can find us everywhere. Just get at us and get talking to us.
Cool. So yeah, I'm excited for the show because I am in part way super prepared. I saw Thor twice,
Yeah, we saw that on the Insta stories.
Yeah, I went the second time just to take notes and just to, because some of our viewers, listeners, said some things in their comments that I was like, I don't know how you saw that. So I went with the second time, trying to see what they saw, and still think they're stupid. So that's fun.
We'll definitely get into that.
On the other hand, I haven't even looked at our topic list yet this week. So I have, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. So we'll find out if I have any opinions and if they're valid or if I just make them up as I go along. It's going to be great.
That's not that unusual.
No, I'm usually pretty well. Like I get the topic list. I go on the links. I read through them, and sometimes I decide I don't care. But this time I have no idea going in whether I do or don't.
So definitely
anybody's guess at this point.
That's awesome.
Wait till the second half when Tim kicks it into gear with the Thor talk. But for right now, we're gonna get into nerdy news. Beep 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 beep. So last week we talked about Zach Levi, whatever, being Shazam in the new Shazam movie, but now we have some talk that DC has cast Asher Angel as Billy Batson, and he's like a Disney star, so I think that's definitely like the way that I wanted that to go. That's definitely the only way that I wanted that to go, would be somebody that knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? Like a kid that knew what the fuck they were, talking about. Or whatever. So,
Kevin, you still can't hear him?
No,
at all.
You can't hear me? Oh God!
All right, so Kevin doesn't know what's going on right now.
Okay, well then I'll wait.
Yeah, because I was distracted by Kevin, so I don't know what you just said.
Okay, cool.
Because he's like walking behind me and stuff. I don't know what's going on.
Heyo.
All right, I can hear Jules.
Yeah?
I'm officially back.
I have another topic I'm going to throw in when we talk about Netflix releasing Okja in theaters. If I forget, just remind me. It's real quick.
Nerdy news.
It's related. It's tangential.
At 6 o'clock.
So last week we talked about Zach Levy joining the DC cast of Shazam, and that's whole thing's going to happen. And now we have some talk that DC has cast Asher Angel as Billy Batson, and I think that's the only way I think I wanted that to go down. I think that's the only way I wanted it to work, because he's a Disney star or a Disney kid, one of those Disney kids. So he definitely knows what he's doing, and I'm totally okay with that.
What's his name?
As him being cast, Asher Angel.
Asher. That sounds fake, but I'm gonna look him up.
Right? He's gonna play Billy Batson.
Fake,
so
but no, it's not much better than Billy Batson. So
no,
it's actually just as believable.
So is Billy is he like actually a child? Like
Billy Batson? Yeah. So Billy Batson is the child that discovers the ability through a wizard in the original to turn into Shazam or to turn into Captain Marvel by saying Shazam, and he becomes this idealized superhero. So this kid will turn into Zachary Levi, and fight maybe The Rock, but no, he's going to fight Mark Strong instead.
Ooh,
because
Mark Strong.
Galahad, not Galahad. Was it Galahad? Merlin was cast as the villain in this. His second DC villain role, because I didn't realize he was the bad guy in that terrible Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I try and erase that movie from my memory.
Everybody does.
For sure.
I mean, honestly, like I had to go to the depths of the internet where people still like that movie to realize this fact.
Those depths exist?
They do. It's. I think it's called the Dark.
It's called Reddit.
Interesting.
The Dark
Reddit or
Universe
4chan or whatever.
Yeah, but that's interesting. I like Mark Strong. I think he's going to make. He's going to make a great villain, because Sinestro was the only good part of the Green Lantern movie. Even though they didn't explore him at all, and he had a name like Sinestro, and spoiler alert, started off as a good guy and then became a bad guy.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. Yeah. We'll get into this a little bit later too. Whenever you have a name like Sinestro or Scourge or something like that, you're a bad guy.
So if it starts with an S, is that?
No, it's just like when it's like
when it sounds like Sinister.
And obviously evil name. Like,
Yeah.
look at all of Batman's villains. It's like you've got, Dr. Freeze, Victor Freeze. It's like, okay, well, he's going to get ice powers. Oh, look, he did.
And Victor just sounds like a bad guy.
Right,
No offense to
he
any of
is.
our
He's
Victor
the
listeners,
offense
but
to any
quintessential, like,
Victors.
evil German scientists.
if you're a Victor and you're listening, you're probably a bad guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You may want to get tested.
Yeah.
You're gonna get
This
some
is
powers
for our
sometime soon.
YouTube viewers right now. This is really weird because normally I'm like looking at my screen, and Kevin and I are looking at each other because we're facing
Oh,
each
that's
other
weird.
over our laptops
How
or
you doing?
whatever. So I don't know how this is going to show up, but it's like we're having a conversation and Jules is somewhere off into
Yeah.
space.
Jules is just yelling
I'll
at us
look
through the internet.
I'll look left and right to be pretend
All right,
I'm
sounds
there.
good.
There you go. Perfect.
Just don't be like that guy who does that podcast that we were on, and he forgot whether we were left or right.
Ooh,
Yeah, the wild
awkward.
The wild pitch. What was his? I can't remember his name. I'm terrible with names. Don't be
Derek, I
offended.
think it
Derek.
was.
Yeah, he had us all confused. Left, right. He didn't know.
Yeah. But I mean, that's some DC news. We also have some more DC news. Brian Michael Bendis, who created Jessica Jones and a couple of others for Marvel, has left and has signed an exclusive deal with DC. So he's going to be writing for them for a little while.
Well, that's the second
God.
time they've stolen someone. So, well,
Yeah.
not necessarily stolen,
No, I
but
mean,
they
it
picked up a
happens.
free agent or whatever.
They keep going back and forth, but I mean, this is a big deal. This guy was a big name. He did a lot for Marvel, and now DC has tapped him to do a lot for them. So
Why do you suppose that he left? I mean, does he not see like Marvel is the thing, or does he want to? Does he think that he can bring DC back up from the ashes and really create something? You know what I mean? What do you think?
I think
his
there's a
thought
lot
process?
more to know from this, but I would imagine that this is someone who writes stories that are then taken by Marvel Cinematic and sort of bastardized. So
Sure,
maybe
yeah.
it's upsetting to see, you create Jessica Jones and then you see it turned into a Marvel TV series. I don't know if they asked him for input on it. I don't know if he liked the story. I'm just sort of wildly speculating, but
Sure.
I could see that might be an issue. It could just be that Marvel isn't giving him the creative freedom he needs. Could be that DC offered him something else, better
More
rights to his characters.
money.
More money.
Yeah,
I mean,
more
could be a
money.
million different things. I mean, that's exactly how that works. But, speaking of people leaving, Alex Kurtzman, there you go, has left the Dark Universe. He was a producer, and after the abysmal failure that was The Mummy.
Yeah, is this the good Dark Universe or the bad Dark Universe?
It's dark.
The bad
this is-
one, right?
This is the one with the Mummy and Bride of
the
Frankenstein
darkest-
and
Okay,
the darkest
darkest
timeline
of the universe.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We're just going to call this the crappy universe.
The crap
We
universe.
Yeah, there you go.
won't from
Well, that
from this
doesn't differentiate
day.
it from reality.
Yeah, from this day forth, we are not going to refer to this as the Dark Universe as they want us to. It's going to be the crappy universe. Just remember that for the future. If we ever say crappy
Oh.
universe, we're referring to what they want to call the Dark Universe.
Sure.
With all the
fine.
Mummy, Bride of Frankenstein, and all that.
Yeah. Which I haven't heard anything about Bride of Frankenstein recently. I don't know if Angelina Jolie. I think she was tapped for that. I don't know if she's backed out or if she's.
Well, they
still
pushed
in
it
that.
back, didn't they? They pushed it back like a year or so. and
Did they set an absolute date on it? I thought they just pushed it back indefinitely.
yeah, they're just like, no, we'll wait until we get money somehow. Until the DVD sales or streaming or whatever sales go a little higher, probably. It's
Yeah.
like, whatever.
Not
But
looking
I mean,
forward to that.
okay, so he left. I mean, that's totally cool. I wish him the best because I'm sure he was not. That whole thing was not going anywhere.
No,
Or
I mean,
isn't going
Kurtzman,
anywhere.
He's just everything he backs is popular but weird. Like I know him from 5-0. I think he was associated with the new Star Treks, which were good but weird. And then just superhero movies and this, it was just nothing had that ring of authenticity, and I'm not sad to see him go.
So you think he just like kind of jumped from different places to get the money and kind of produce these things that would make money possibly, and there you didn't feel that like his heart was in a certain project or anything
Yeah,
like
I
that?
don't.
You
I
know what
don't
mean?
think he
Yeah.
had anything he was passionate about. I think he's a businessman who's just throwing money at stuff, and some of it
Sure.
works and some of it doesn't. And this is, I think, him leaving this is a business decision more than anything else. I think he realizes this is not going to make them any money, and he's just
Nope.
out. I mean, it's
Sinking ship.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, businesses, yes, they have to make business decisions, but you have to have heart too. Disney recently started shitting all over the LA Times for some reporting that the LA Times did, and said that they weren't allowed to review any of their upcoming movies. At which point,
they were like,
basically
nope.
everyone on Earth band together and said, well, guess what, Disney? No more awards for you. And
Fuck off,
a bunch
yeah.
of film critics and awards and all that just said, nope, never again. And Disney is walking back from that. Oh, well, we didn't mean it. We're good.
Because they banned the LA Times from like press conferences, early releases, and all that stuff, because the LA Times did a not so good review about Disney or something like that once, and then they were like, the mouse was like, no, we're not gonna let them, watch our stuff or whatever, and everybody's like, that's not okay because of the freedom of the press and all that stuff, and everybody was like, fuck off, Disney, we don't want to watch your movies if you're gonna be like that. If you're gonna be a baby about it, we're not gonna watch your movies. And they're like, wait, hold on,
we didn't mean it, we were just
I'm sorry
kidding.
Yeah, hey, it was fun, right?
How you doing?
Stupid.
You guys want to come over? We're gonna have a party. We're gonna invite the X-Men and Deadpool and
Hey, we're gonna get on this ship, man. You can come.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Disney's
Thor
trying to buy parts of Fox, including the X-Men, to try and bring it all back together. The Fantastic Four, and a couple of other rights. Basically everything except for their broadcast arm, because that would compete too hard with their broadcast arm and make them a monopoly in the industry. And so there were talks. These have been going on for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently they are currently dead in the water, but I don't know. I think Marvel is and Disney are going to try to get the band back together, but I don't know if they
eventually
should. I mean,
no, they shouldn't, but they are. I mean, it's a whole money thing, and Disney definitely is going after is definitely consuming these bigger companies that they can, because they're Disney and they have a ton of money and everything, and they're just trying to slowly, I think, just consume every big name and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
We're just watching it happen, and it's pretty intense.
This would be the best thing possible
Disney
for
and Marvel
X-Men
together.
fans, though, don't you think?
Well,
Our one X-Men fan that's listening, yeah.
I'd love to have like a really good X-Men movie. I think the original X-Men movie was fantastic, and I did like it. I thought it set the tone and it set everything in a good direction, but I think everything that came after that was shit all over it. And
Except
for the Wolverine,
Logan.
The Wolverine, yeah, Logan.
True.
That's what I was
No,
gonna
you're
say.
absolutely right. Except for Logan, but I think Logan was another passion project, and I think we do need more of that.
But if X-Men were to join into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're now getting it involved with the people who just make good movies. I mean, one after the other. So they'll attach someone to an X-Men project, or they'll bring the X-Men into the fray of the Avengers or whatever they're doing post Stage 4, and they'll get people involved who want to make good movies and who, by all records, will make good movies. So if you're an X-Men fan, this is best possible scenario, because Marvel just pumps out great films.
Plot twist. Out of nowhere, this has been going on for so long. They already bought those parts of Fox, and in Infinity War, the X-Men show up out of nowhere, and shit goes down. And it's like, what? The biggest kept secret ever.
That would be kind of neat, because I do think Infinity War is going to wind up with a bunch of changes to what we know. I really do think they're going to start hopping dimensions and stuff, and we'll see different versions of these characters.
Oh,
so
boy.
it'll be a simultaneous reuniting of the X-Men with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the press release announcement that Disney has purchased this arm of 21st Century Fox. Like,
boom.
In the movie. They don't do an actual press announcement. They just do the movie, and afterwards everybody's just left to understand that they bought
and look at
21st Century Fox.
They don't need a press conference, because then the word of mouth, all the articles that are going to be written about it, that's free press. It's like, boom,
right.
What? Okay, you got to go see this movie. This shit happens. Oh my God, what? Disney bought whatever. So, yeah, it's a win-win. Disney, take some advice from the nerdy boys and just do it. Just
every
do it
time
under
we've
wraps.
made a
Keep it under
suggestion
wraps.
on here, and it looks like our suggestion comes to fruition. It looks awesome. So I really think that these executives should be listening to us more because we come up with great ideas. I mean, I talked a few weeks ago about, doing a female reboot of Magnum, and 2 days later, Kristen Bell is dressed up as Magnum PI. I mean, boom. Genius stuff comes out of this podcast, and people should be listening.
There you go. And you know what? I wish we had thought to put Kevin James in place of Kevin Spacey.
I don't.
Another
in
genius
House of
idea
Cards.
right here.
That is genius. I love it, and I think that we should continue House of Cards with Kevin James instead of Kevin Spacey. He was a fantastic president in Pixels, even though that was the world's worst movie ever. And I think that we should sign this petition and make it happen. It's got 37,000 signatures already, and it is still going.
I'm going to stand behind what I said to you guys the other night. If this happens, I will go and take a dump on the desk of every executive that was involved in this decision. I'm going to do it.
So if you don't know, there's a change.org petition that's going around that's asking for people to sign it. And it, like Kevin said, 37,000 people strong. I signed it. I'm pretty sure Kevin signed it. And it's just pretty funny that it's getting so much notoriety and so many people actually paying attention to this. And it's pretty funny. And I don't know. Maybe
since I missed the
we'll
podcast last week, guys, I'm just going to throw out a little politics here. It's really something that the fake president can get fired for sexual harassment, abuse, but the real president can't. Anyways, that's all I got.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Just because I missed last week, I'm just, going to throw a nugget out there.
Sure.
Oh, boy. I keep waiting for, like, Scooby-Doo and the gang to come in and
Pull off the
mask.
Kevin Spacey's mask, and we find out that it was old man Smithers this whole time.
I would have gotten away with it, too, if it weren't for you darn kids.
Yeah, they're apparently doing a live-action Scooby-Doo spin-off with Daphne and Velma. It's shooting in Georgia right now.
Wait, it's shooting?
Shooting.
Cast? Who's
They're
playing?
Casting. You know what? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I know one of the producers is... I've lost her name. I'll put it up. Have it up later. But she is a singer, actress. She's done a lot of voice work for cartoons.
Produced by Ashley Tisdale.
That's what it was.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Ashley Tisdale hasn't even acted or sung in anything that's good. How can she be qualified to produce something that's
Right.
good?
So
Oh,
this
man,
is
I
gonna
was
be-
like
no,
kind
this
of
is gonna be
excited about this,
great.
and now this is just...
It's marked for theatrical release. We're not sure that's true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Straight to DVD.
Straight to
not even
Redbox.
Blu-ray, just DVD.
They don't even have the money to
No.
print it on the Blu-rays.
No, we just had some leftover blank DVDs. We're just going to pump this out.
This is disgusting.
Yeah, it's going to be some kind of high school thing. They're asking for high school kids as like extras or whatever. So, and then she says, Ashley tweeted that she's in Atlanta. She's happy to be in Atlanta with her favorite food or something. Can't wait to share what I'm working on and all this stuff. So
Next thing you
it's
know, the girl who
definitely
played
happening.
Kimmy Gibbler is going to be producing, I don't know, a Ninja Turtles reboot. Like, what is
Why not?
happening?
Wait, is she? Is she a producer on? There is a Ninja Turtles reboot.
That's as plausible as what I just heard. So, jeez.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I don't know. That's pretty cool. We need more female empowerment and movies like that. So hopefully it's really good because
Can we
I
pick
do like
good
the
ones,
Scooby-Doo
though?
universe. Yeah. Some better ones. Wonder Woman was fantastic. With Daphne and Velma, maybe. We'll see. Fighting zombies.
But if I'm sorry. Yes, we need more women in charge of films. We need more minority in charge of films. We've talked about this ad nauseum. But there are probably 1 billion to 1.3 billion more qualified females than Ashley Tisdale.
Yeah.
So why don't we pick one of those billion?
Well, give her a chance. Let's see if she screws it up first.
What
And
if she
does,
really
let's,
loves
yell at her.
Scooby-Doo?
Maybe. This could be a passion project.
I love Scooby-Doo too.
We'll make a movie. Let's make a movie. You as, I don't know, who would you be? You and Kevin. Which
Me and Kevin?
Which character?
Zoink,
Yeah, which character would you be?
Like,
There you
let's
go.
get out of here.
Oh, boy. I
Okay.
think I'm definitely one of the ugly masked villains.
Like, you can be Scoob, man.
You're the
We'll just-
before they
we'll
take
make
off
like
the
a
mask.
tree and get out of here.
Exactly. I'm like the swamp creature that's melting.
Let's make like a banana and like leave, man.
That's perfect. See? Boom.
Oh, boy.
Done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love
We got it.
Scooby-Doo. I don't love Ashley Tisdale.
Okay, fair enough. Well, how do you feel about Tyrese?
You know I'm Team Tyrese.
Yeah, we
I
know-
know you're
You
Team
know I'm
Tyrese.
Team Tyrese.
Tyrese has officially ended the feud with The Rock.
They talked.
They
had
No,
talked
no,
with one
no,
of
they
his
didn't
people.
talk.
Oh, they did. I thought they sat
I
down.
thought they sat down. No, apparently it was one
Tyrese
of The Rock's
specifically said
people.
Yeah.
So, Tyrese in the Rock's universe, Tyrese isn't even a big enough part of it
Yep.
to talk directly to him.
Hashtag family.
I think they pretty much. I think what happened was that The Rock, if they would have talked together, things would have probably gotten pretty intense. But what I think was that happened because they were gonna do a spin-off. We already talked about that a whole lot. A spin-off with The Rock's character and Fast and the Furious and all that stuff. And they said explicitly that Tyrese wasn't going to be in it, or Tyrese said he wasn't going to be in it or anything. What I think happened was that one of The Rock's people talked to Tyrese and was like, hey, well, we don't want to mess with your money and stuff, because was Tyrese's whole concern, that they're messing with his pocket, with his money, his paycheck and all that stuff. And what I think happened was that one of The Rock's people was like, hey, we don't want to mess with that. Let's get you in on this spin-off movie. We want you in it and we'll pay you whatever. So I think that's what's happening, because why would one of Rock's people talk to him and then automatically it be okay all of a sudden?
There's got to be something that was said, and I know it is money
Yeah.
related. And just because I'm Team Tyrese and I got to stand by that, let's add some context to that. I don't know Tyrese's lifestyle. Like, he could be buying Ferraris and Lamborghinis just like his character in the movie.
No,
But I do know that he's going through a divorce and there's a custody battle. And that is where he says his money's going. And from what I heard, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, I think I've got that right. It was somebody famous, but I'm pretty sure it was them, are floating him money right now to their friends, I guess. I don't know. And you know what? If you guys are listening and I got the names wrong, I don't have my phone. I'm so ill prepared for this part. I'm pretty sure it's Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, but they're floating him like $5 million to get through this lawyer stuff, and that's why he wants a movie, because he's like, dude, I need a paycheck.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what his lifestyle is. I also don't know who his ex-wife is. I also don't know how she's going after him for money, for the custody, and all this kind of stuff. But apparently, his friends are floating him money to get him through this. So
It's amazing to me how people can always outlive their means.
it's true. But again, he could have all this money. You don't know how much of it she's coming after. These divorce proceedings and this is they could custody and divorce proceedings can go bad both ways. But I know that sometimes it can be made especially difficult for the men if they have a lot of money. So it could just be like he was living a lifestyle. It wasn't necessarily to the max of his means, but when she wants to come after more than half of it, now all of a sudden, crap, what am I going to do? So there's things in context that we don't understand. This could be all bad Tyrese. I could be on the wrong side of this, but
Sure.
since I am Team Tyrese, I'm just offering the context, so maybe I don't look so bad when I'm defending this guy. It's very possible that he's just getting leached. Or he could have cheated on his wife, and this could be all his fault. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
there are some
that's the
things,
context.
yeah.
He's supposed to be fighting for his kid. That's what I'm understanding, and he's even borrowing money from friends to get through it. So, bad Rock. Bad Dwayne Johnson.
So yeah, he did say on Instagram and all that the feud has ended between him and Rock, and he's not going to mention it ever again, because he did talk to one of Rock's people and stuff like that. So
Who is
there's
the
not
Rock's
too much
people?
The Rock, I don't
right
know. Like,
who
if you're The Rock, you'd want to surround yourself with people that were like you, but maybe less strong or stronger. Like, I don't know. I mean, everybody's less strong than The Rock, so
Right.
that's fine. But
Who's his people?
who
I'm
would he
dying to know
respect,
who's
or
his
who
people.
would he like enough to drag along on his coattails?
I don't know.
Not Tyrese.
No, Jack
know
Black.
that?
apparently not.
Maybe Jack Black's
Jack
the
Black.
guy?
Maybe Jack Black and Tyrese sat down. You know what? This is now headcanon.
That would be funny.
That is
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
Dang, that'd be good. That'd be a fun conversation to watch.
And Kyle Gass was there too.
Yeah,
and they
well,
were just
Kyle
singing.
G just
they were,
follows Jack
They were
Black
singing.
around.
He was rapping. They
That's-
were all doing this. There was a big jam session, and everybody got down and said, "All right, dude, it's good."
What's your favorite dish?
Oh God. So there's some things that
Tyrese is the
happened.
man, and we know this, and we love to be with Tyrese. Yes, let's do this.
So going into the gaming corner, there's some stuff that happened in gaming. Apparently, some stuff that we don't have right now. I'm just gonna go through it. Apparently, the new Need for Speed game kind of sucks. That a lot of people are giving the reviews of it like around 5 to 7, mostly 5, just because there's a huge grind. It was supposed to go back into the Fast and the Furious whole type gaming style that they used to have.
They should have got Tyrese
pretty,
involved.
there you go. But they apparently missed the mark, and it's about 5, and it's kind of shitty. Apparently, the new Sonic Mania game, I think Sonic Mania, or the new one that's coming out,
Forces?
also is going to Sonic Forces.
Yeah.
Well, they had a Sonic Mania game that already came out, but Sonic Forces is missing the mark as well. Oof. So all you Sonic fans out there, like me, a newly devout Sonic fan since a couple months ago, really sad to hear that it's the Polygon editor that played the game or got to play the game said it really sucked, and it did not do as well as Sonic Mania or hit any of the marks that Sonic Mania did. So that's kind of sad. And for you Call of Duty fans out there, World War II came out, and I got my hands on it, and it's pretty good. It's not the best. I don't know what to say about it. It was really, I'm really on the fence because I really like the audio, the quality for, the guns, the explosions, all that is super great.
I really like
but
the audio. When your review of a video game starts off with "I really like the audio,"
that's the only good thing I can really say.
I'm sorry. You know what? I haven't played the game. I haven't really read anything about it. But the one thing that stuck with me when I was putting together the show notes for this was someone said that this game was so authentic, you could tell that the servers were based on 1941 technology. And I had to laugh.
Should that go in the 9D
That's
world?
true.
Should they just take this game and save that guy a whole lot of money and import it into the 9D realm for the Kickstarter guy?
Yeah,
That's
there
what
you
they should
go.
do,
That's
right?
exactly right.
So we can PTSD.
I mean, they're not
grandfathers to death.
Yeah.
Yes, this video game
boy.
should be put into that 9D movie theater. Oh.
But yeah, it definitely does live up to that because the servers are pretty shit right now. But it's interesting. I mean, if you like all that old war stuff, if you like foot on the ground battle and all that good stuff, it's cool. But I think they went too far to the left. So their last Call of Duty was super futuristic, and then just going and sort of strangling that and putting out this game where it is the farthest away from that. The comparisons are ridiculous. So if you're coming off the last one, you're probably going to find this one a little bit boring. And I mean, a lot of people are buying it. The sales have been up like 350%, I think, since the last Call of Duty so far. So people are buying it and people are interested, but I don't know how, the longevity of it is going to be. I mean, so that was sort of my thoughts on some of the games, and we have some other gaming news that probably Kevin is super excited about.
BlizzCon was this week, and so there were 3 big things that came out of this that excite me. There's a new expansion for WoW. I'm probably not going back. Called Battle for Azeroth.
Stay away.
And basically, it's going to ramp up the division between the factions again and get, I think, more PvP in there. There's 2 new continents. There's a whole bunch of new raids, new dungeons, 2 new islands that you get to go to, and something called Warfronts, which should be pretty neat.
What is Warfronts?
They announced vanilla servers are going to be coming, so they're going to be basically allowing people to roll back to when the game first started and play on the crappiest way possible. So that should be awesome for some people.
Yay for nostalgia.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people that play on vanilla emulator servers out there. So I think Blizzard is recognizing this and trying to get those people back into WoW and trying to bring back like the 40-man raids and some of the stuff that has been missing from the game in recent years, because they've sort of taken away the team aspect of this, the massively multiplayer aspect of this massively multiplayer online game. And then the third bit of news to come out of this, apparently StarCraft 2 will be free to play as of the 14th of this month. So if you're a StarCraft fan, which it got me through college, then StarCraft 2 free to play. That's exciting for me. I haven't played StarCraft 2. I've been off that wagon too for a little while. But that's it's pretty neat. I'm very happy that WoW is coming out with a new expansion. It's still going strong. We're 10 years in, so that's neat.
Jesus, yeah, that's intense.
In
I
other
mean,
gaming news, I heard that the Xbox One S is just a $500 not so great computer.
Xbox One X, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not definitely. We
Xbox
could
One XS, X, what's
Project
it called?
Scorpio,
It is
Project
XS,
S,
you're
Scorpio, yeah.
yeah, whatever. X, the iPhone X. Oh, did you get your iPhone, Tim?
Oh, you brought it up.
Oh, never mind. Well,
We don't want
all
to.
right.
We don't want to go down
Nope.
that road.
So anyway, apparently Netflix
Anyways.
is bringing Okja to theaters.
yeah, that movie I never saw. Yeah, that a lot of people
lucky.
liked and cried about because it was super.
So why are they bringing it to
crazy.
theaters? They think they can get some word buzz on this
I
thing?
think
Is that
that's
their
exactly
thing?
what it is. I think it's in response to all of the different people that criticize them for no theater exposure. They're not going the traditional route with any of their movies, and I think they just kind of want to shut them up. So they're going to bring this to theaters. I think it was coming out this Christmas. They're going to really horrify a bunch of people.
On
And,
Christmas
yeah.
time?
yeah, right around Christmas. I
Good
mean,
call.
what better way to spend time with your family than being terrified and having to explain to your family why you brought your 5-year-old to a movie like this, and then they're gonna be hoping for awards, I guess.
Well, they did
Yeah.
it with Meyerowitz as well, which we talked about. Brought it to theaters for a little bit. So maybe this is something they'll do. I mean, it's if they're gonna keep funding the movies, they're gonna have to find another revenue stream because they can only grow their user base so much. You know what I mean? And then we talked about this. They're talking about updating the price $1. If it happens, where it's $5, $6, and they might lose some subscribers. So they keep spending money on the original content, but especially with the movies, they're going to have to find some other revenue streams. And Amazon's doing it right. I think they release them in theaters, make some money, and then they put it on streaming. So yeah, I think this is something they're going to have to do. I just think they need to do it in reverse. Put it in the theaters first,
Yep.
then stream
Yeah.
it. But whatever. Interestingly enough, speaking of streaming and movies, I got an email from AMC today because I'm a big loyal AMC guy because I make lots of money off their rewards program. Even more now that I'm not paying for the movies to go there and still getting rewards.
Oh, boy.
Hashtag thanks Movie Pass. But if I see Daddy's Home 2 and I buy the ticket through AMC, they will give me a code to stream it at home through December 9th.
Whoa.
So they're like, come see the movie, and then if you want to watch it a few more times or let some other people watch it at home, you can have a streaming code for it.
That's weird.
I'm not sure
that's
what their
really
end goal is
interesting.
with that. If they have some sort of deal with, I don't know, whoever the Vimeo or whoever is going to stream it, but I was shocked. I had to read the email like several times to make sure I was comprehending it correctly. But yes, if I buy it through AMC, if I go see it, I will then be able to stream it at home for like almost a month.
Wow.
Because that movie comes out this week. So
That's amazing.
interesting.
That's the first time that I think all of us have heard of that. Do you think they're just testing it out and testing out how, first off, how many people read their emails and how many people, respond to this sort of things, and then two, how many people are going to actually do this service or do a service like this, so in the future they can be like, well, we have this sort of data, and if we keep training our users to do it this way, maybe we can get them to do something. I don't know what that would be though. I don't know what, like Tim, like you said, it was just like you don't know what they're planning. There's something brewing in their head with this. They can't
Right.
just give you everything. You know what I mean? So that's really interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do agree that they
No,
should have done
Jules
it the
just
other
got it
way
on ours.
with Okja being in movies first and then adding it to streaming. But then you can also argue that you got all the hype from it, and now the people that watched it on streaming want to see it on the bigger
Jules?
screen. So I think it could go either way.
Hello? And we lost Jules.
Jules, are you okay? Buddy.
Hello?
Hey, man. We're gonna get on the ship and fly away. You wanna come with us?
Oh, yes, it's just a big circle, man.
Jules?
Hello?
Hey.
Jules.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I said a whole long thing, so
Oh,
you can
good.
probably cut from there.
Perfect.
Yeah, normally I can get in the head of these people a little bit and try and figure out what their end game is, but I don't.
No.
I've got nothing on this one. I just think it's cool because I'm probably going to see the movie, so then if it's good, I'll get to stream it again. So nice. But I don't know what the end goal is with it. I have
Sure.
no idea.
Very cool. So I think that's all we had for the nerdy news.
Yeah, wraps it up.
Now we get
So
to
it's time to
the
get
fun
into
part.
the main topic.
Main.
The Thor topic.
The Lord of Thunder topic.
It's God of Thunder. So
we
this
had
week's topic, Thor Ragnarok. I assume all three of us have seen it, but I'm not really going to cry. What a fantastic movie. We're going to do a little bit of a spoiler-free hype session, gushing about it.
Sure. All I want to say...
if you're still listening and you haven't seen it, now is your warning. Turn it off. Go away. Don't... Well, I'm not going to be held responsible for any of this. However...
Sure.
We're going to get into this. There will be spoilers. We're going to try to keep it a little spoiler-free, but I'm not going to promise anything.
I promise nothing.
No promises.
First thing I want to say is that how much fun was this movie? It was ridiculously fun and super interesting. Sort of a broad stroke on how I liked the movie, how I loved this movie. That pretty much every frame, I was trying to look at it really hard and really decipher like what was going on. Alone in the movie theater. And I wanted to see like what bad things could I say, because I knew inherently that I was going to like it, but what bad things could I say about this movie if I had to? But from what I was looking at, every scene had purpose, pretty much. Every scene and every sort of dialogue and everything that I saw with my eyes or heard with my ears had purpose. And that's definitely the sign of a good movie, that it either pushed the storyline or was visually spectacular or gave you some insight on the world that they're living in or the world that they're at and all that stuff. So it definitely was just all of that. It was just fantastic.
Guys, the runtime was 110 minutes.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to a 2.5 hour movie as long as the 2.5 hour movie is filled with good stuff. But the runtime was 110 minutes. They didn't feel the need to push this to 2 hours or over 2 hours.
Nope.
They said, we got a story we got to tell. We're going to give you an action-packed scene or an informative scene every time. We're going to run it for just over an hour and a half, and you are going to love every minute of it. And that's exactly how I felt. I loved every minute of this movie. I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Every scene served a purpose, but I don't think every scene served a purpose for this movie. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in spoilers. We know from the trailers that the Hulk is in this. We know from other things that you've got, Loki, Tom Hiddleston. You've got Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. I mean, Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't a bad person cast for this movie.
Not at all.
It was just spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. We didn't see a lot of Mark Ruffalo. We did see a lot of the Hulk. I'm so excited. Like
there was enough Mark
there
Ruffalo,
was enough.
Though.
There was
And
enough. It just wasn't a lot. And my heart broke for him. Oh.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, this was the fight scene for them. We saw a little bit of that in the trailers too. Was just
So yeah,
it went on long. I mean, I think this was a great movie.
Even though, the fight scene, I don't want to talk about that specifically, but when you see a movie like this and you see the previous Thor movies and you see how kind of hilarious the trailer was, you're thinking, all like a comedy, all the funny parts are going to be in the trailers. Even in the fight scene, there's that one big punchline, which we all saw almost a year ago in the trailer.
Sure.
Hey, that's a friend from work,
Yeah.
But even in that little speech, that wasn't the only joke.
No.
Like that little back and forth goes on for about another minute, and it's really humorous, really engaging, and really entertaining. So it wasn't like they pulled all the punches in the trailer. This movie is just chock full of that kind of stuff. It doesn't stop.
And it was a different cut of that line too in the movie. So that was interesting. It was neat. But do you have anything else to add for non-spoilers, Jules, Tim?
Non-spoilers, no. It does push along the story. It gives you a whole new... I have a gripe with sort of how interesting the main story was, but we'll get to that later. But overall, it was a fantastic movie. You should definitely go see it if you haven't gone to see it already, or go see it again.
Well, I'll add one thing that I think the audience as a whole would enjoy, because this is kind of nerdy, geeky stuff for me, which I love. The movie was funny. I mean, that's there's no secret.
Super
I think
funny.
anybody who's seen a review at this point knows that this was essentially a comedy movie, which I loved.
Yep.
And this brings up a point to me. First of all, what a great job Taika Waititi did.
Oh yeah, my God. Yes.
But this is also why I think, whether it's DC or Marvel, will someone please give Kevin Smith a superhero movie? All right? So Kevin Smith posted this because I love him. He's such a nerd. He posted this on his Instagram. This is from a Vanity Fair interview with Chris Hemsworth. So I'm just going to read it real quick. It says, "It was Hemsworth's idea to cut the hair, in quotes, destroy the hammer, in quotes, move that Waititi, whom Hemsworth described as also being sick, in quotes, of the old Thor, wholeheartedly endorsed. Hemsworth credits Kevin Smith, whom he once heard bashing the Thor franchise on a podcast, for inspiring him to speak his mind to Feig. He said, hearing someone like Smith, whom represents the fanboy world, was such a kick in the ass to change gears," Hemsworth says. "We sort of had nothing to lose. People didn't expect what we did with this time around." Give Kevin Smith a movie, because he just from his own podcast studio inspired Chris Hemsworth, who's a really funny guy, to say, you know what, Kevin Smith, you're right. We should take this, move it in a new direction. I love where you're going with this. Let's bring it to the head of Marvel. He goes, yeah, that's a great idea. And Taika Waititi's like, yeah, man, let's do it. All right. And then they did it, and they succeeded. But give Kevin Smith a superhero movie. And somebody do it, please.
It was a reinvention of the Thor character, and it was this whole movement to and growing of this character, and we really saw a lot of depth where we probably didn't see it a whole lot before, because I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the past Thor movies. I mean, the first one was pretty good, the second one was okay, but Thor as a character now, after this movie, he is my favorite character out of the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, because
nothing to lose.
Yeah, so they
I've
just
always
went all in.
enjoyed his he's been comedic in the movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's mostly been the fish out of water, trope that he plays really well.
Yep.
But there's just I've seen him in other interviews and on like SNL and stuff. He's a funny guy. He's got a good sense of humor about him, and it's just kind of the way he plays those lines has always been funny. But this was just them taking that to another level, and I give them a tremendous amount of credit for being open to reinventing the movie, for seeing what's worked from some other films like Guardians of the Galaxy and being open to make that change. But let's give some credit to Chris Hemsworth just for being a guy who, in his own time, is listening to outside opinions of his work and his world and being open to the criticism of it. Because he could have, he didn't have to be listening to a Kevin Smith podcast, period. But he was, and he heard a criticism of his work. He could have very easily just said, shut up, dude. What do you know? You made Clerks 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm the box office star. But no, he's like, you know what? That's a good point. And he was open to criticism. He had a little bit of humility. Kevin Feige, he was like, yeah, dude, I'm with you on that. Let's try something new. I'm all good with it. And of course, Taika Waititi's a comedy guy to begin with.
Hey man, we're gonna make a comedy. You want to come with us?
Yeah, right. And so I give everybody in the Marvel universe a tremendous amount of credit for being humble enough to just look at what they're doing and say, we can switch gears and do it better. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they did it. And it's one of the highest
All right, so
rated
that's it for
movies.
Let's really delve into this. If anybody's still listening and you haven't seen the movie, this is on you.
Sure.
This was, I think, my favorite Marvel movie ever. Now, I mean, really, this movie was so funny and had so much weight and so much depth to it that I just can't think of a better way to have done this. This was definitely like a buddy comedy set in space that just happened to be a superhero movie, and that is amazing.
I kind of want to get into what we sort of expected or what we thought was going to happen with this story, or who we were going to see, who we thought we were going to see, and how much it differed from it actually happening, because I think they gave us a whole lot in the trailers and we thought, okay, that's all we're going to see. We're going to see a huge Hulk fight with Thor or whatever. That's pretty much all they're promoting. It's like, oh, this is going to be super one-dimensional, whatever. But we get a huge Hulk and Thor fight, which is ridiculous, which is insane, super awesome, what everybody really likes whenever superheroes go against each other. We also see a lot of Tom Hiddleston doing some funny stuff, doing all that, the mischievous things, and Thor overcoming his mischievousness and finally, taking one up on him because he finally figures it out, and character development and all that stuff. And we saw a lot of different characters. We got some new characters, and we also got some Doctor Strange, which is a huge part in the beginning, and that just like there's a ton of scenes that I was not expecting, and it was just like, wow, okay, this kind of like the Spider-Man thing, with the newest Spider-Man, that spoiler that happened later on. I had a lot of those moments when I was watching this new Thor movie, because I was like, holy crap, I didn't know this was going to happen. Oh, this is really cool. I really like the way they set up. Fucking Jeff Goldblum's fucking badass. He's pretty funny. All these moments that kept happening that I was not expecting, and I really liked that. They didn't give anything away pretty much in the trailer.
No, the only thing in the trailer that I wish they hadn't given away was, and there was no chance they were ever going to do this, but I wish we didn't know that Hulk was going to be in these movies.
Sure.
Because I think that would have had a lot more weight to it if we didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know.
It was a little long build up.
Yeah. No chance they were going to do that, because that is part of what was selling this movie. We know what planet Thor winds up on from the trailers. We know it's Sakaar. We know that Hulk is in Sakaar, because that's the whole storyline of the Planet Hulk comics. I mean, there's no chance they would do that. But it would have been a little bit better. I maybe just save the "he's a friend from work" line and give me something else. That would have been funny, but it still worked. I mean, the fight did go on longer than I thought. Thor is a badass. I loved that fight. That showed his strength. It showed his humanity. He kept trying to connect to the Hulk when he held his palm out and he's, hey, big guy, sun's going down. Sun's getting real low. I was crying. I was laughing so hard at that.
It only works when you're a chick that the Hulk has a crush on, though.
That's true.
It doesn't work when you're as good looking as Thor is. It still doesn't work.
But here's the thing, like, and so we're on that for a second. We'll go back and talk about some other stuff. But I feel so bad for Bruce Banner in this.
Sure.
No, seriously, because he's been Hulk for 2 years. He's been Hulk for 2 years because nobody wants Bruce Banner. Everybody wants the Hulk. The last time we saw Bruce Banner, he's talking to Black Widow. They are in love. They have decided they're going to run off together. He doesn't have to be the Hulk. She doesn't have to be the Black Widow. And the next thing she does is kick him off the edge of the planet that they're on. That Ultron is lifting up into the sky because they need the Hulk. And he is just, I can see this in him. He's just devastated that here is this woman who he thought understood everything he's going through. And then they were in love and they were going to run off, and then she kicks him off the world. That would ruin me. I mean, honestly, and that's why he's been the Hulk for 2 years. He doesn't want to come back.
Well, we got some user comments, and I've read some things where people did complain about certain aspects of this movie, and one of them they said there was no character development. And I think if you don't think there was character development, you weren't watching, because I think so when the Hulk's the Hulk, is Mark Ruffalo voice acting that character, or I don't know.
No,
he's not.
He has mocap on his face. Yeah,
it's mocap. Yeah, he's doing all the mocap.
But who's doing the voice acting?
I'm pretty sure that was at least partially, like, it's modulated. I think it was partially what's his face? The original Hulk, wasn't it? Why can't I think of his name? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're talking about the.
But I think it's a voice actor of
So the reason I asked that is because it was really good. Like when he's the Hulk, you think of the Hulk as angry Hulk, but they put him in scenes and situations where he's letting a little bit of his Hulk character or his Hulk vulnerability out. Like, he's really mean to Thor.
Hulk like fire.
Yeah, he's funny, like Hulk like fire.
Like little
Thor,
fire.
like smoldering fire. Like, everything about him is winning. And that's bull, because that's why people adore him. Yeah. He's on this planet, and they give him adoration for winning. So you can see just by that right there that what he's seeking is acceptance and adoration. But even so, he's being mean to Thor, blah, blah, blah. And then Thor tries to leave. He's like, fine, Thor, leave. And then he's like, no, don't leave. Like, he really wants him there. Like, he's pretending like he doesn't want him to be his friend because I'm the Hulk. I don't need anybody. But then when push comes to shove, he really lets in. No, I really want to be part of the team. I really want a friend. And that's the vulnerability that character has, even as the Hulk, even as the bad version of Bruce Banner. He still has this need for acceptance, and it's just being fed on this planet, which is why I think he stayed the Hulk, because people worship him for winning. So that's all that becomes his mindset. Win, win, win.
Yep.
Every conversation that he has, he puts it in the context of winning and losing until it turns out that Thor is going to leave. And then he's like, no, please don't go. You know?
Yeah.
So that's big time character development in a place where you wouldn't even expect to see it or look for it. It's really cool.
Sure.
And my only problem with this entire movie centers around that whole scene, because you have the arena fight, you have Jeff Goldblum cheat and knock Thor out so that Hulk can win.
Right.
And for some reason, Thor doesn't die. He woke up in Hulk's room. So why would they put him in Hulk's room? I don't understand that at all. You've got this guy who came in, who almost defeated your champion in combat, who claims to know your champion. You knock him out, and then you put him in the champion's bedroom.
Probably because that's just like they're holding. Well, I mean, it was more
wasn't.
towards Hulk's
Yeah.
stuff, but
Right.
it seemed like just a holding place because
So make another holding place, because it didn't contain Thor. Like nothing. He broke the window to get out.
Right.
There was nothing in there that would have kept him in. I just think it was. I mean, it was convenient for the story, and I think that was it. And then following that scene, he goes to the Quinjet, which is on this junk planet that everyone is trying to escape from, and the Quinjet is sitting there untouched amid this pile of rubble that everyone is scavenging through. So you're telling me that in the last 2 years, no one went over and took any parts of that still working, fully functional, not really secured Quinjet? Because Thor got on it without needing any access codes.
Oh, yeah.
And only needed the access codes to turn it on. And I mean, someone would have taken something off of that. You would have seen someone using it for something else at some point. Even if we had part of the Quinjet as another machine that they were, we're like, oh, we're familiar with the controls, we'll take that one. Because it's not like they needed it to escape. It was destroyed by Hulk. I think that was just another unrealistic. I mean,
Sure.
I get it. We're
Thing that
talking a comic
happened
book
that
movie, but unrealistic within the confines of this universe.
Well,
Sure.
the only way I could justify the first part of that is that Thor.
Thulk?
Yeah, Thulk. That the Hulk requested that Thor be in his chambers. I mean, it's
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
It's
because, like we
entirely
said,
possible.
he really does
wants a
want to
friend.
be part of this friendship.
Okay.
He could have said, "Hey, Thor, Hulk want Thor,"
Yeah.
and so that they put
That's
him
the
there.
spoils of war. He won.
Exactly. So
perfect.
and then the plane. I mean, who knows? It's a plot
Yeah, no,
device
it's exactly.
to turn him back.
Yeah,
into
Exactly.
his
that
family,
was
destroyed
pretty
whatever.
much for
anyway.
this story.
Yeah.
It was just there.
Yeah. That
So
I want to get back to the beginning. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
want to
yeah.
cycle
Yeah,
through
we
this
skipped
movie
that.
Definitely.
a little bit. So maybe we'll circle back to that fight because I do want to talk
Please.
more about the fight.
Let's start it
So
over.
let's go back. I love, like, just at the very beginning of this movie, you've got Loki and you've got Thor on Earth.
Yep.
I love that because they're looking for, well, first of all, Loki's impersonating King Odin.
No, let's start this.
Well,
way.
I even want to go
So,
before that.
We've got Thor in the basket.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Thor
I
the
forget where
movie
this
starts
began.
with Thor talking to a skeleton.
the
I
sort of
immediately
monologue that
loved
yeah.
it. That was amazing. And then the basket opens and Thor just falls down, and that talk between him and the big horned flamey guy, I forget his name, was just great when he's spinning and he's hold on, I'll come right back around. The comedy in this, I love Taika Waititi's brand of comedy. It's just so absurd. And when Thor did that a second time, that was great.
He's like, I'm not even doing this. I'm not even moving. I don't know.
It's not even me. Yeah.
The thing
But,
is,
like-
it's not trying too hard. It's obvious comedy. These are like obvious jokes to make, but they're just dry and simple, and you don't expect them where they are. I
Right.
think that's what makes it so fantastic, is that he's just making, it's like Seinfeld kind of jokes.
Yes.
Like, this is what's happening in the room right now, so let's make a joke about it. But you don't expect that in a superhero universe.
No,
you know?
even just at the end of that exchange when he's in trouble and he opens his hand to have the hammer show up in his hand, and you just hesitate, and you're just and you can just hear the hammer coming, and it's like, okay, nope, this is stretched out way too long. It's awkward now.
Yeah. But let's let it be.
But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And he did
You
that
know,
again in Doctor Strange's place, and there was just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
the umbrella.
I'm
and
sorry.
it's-
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. And
But
then
yeah, that-
he goes and he's calling for the Rainbow Bridge to come and take him back to Asgard, and Heimdall's
Yep.
not answering. and then Scourge, who Carl Urban. Oh, God, I love Carl Urban so much.
I hate Carl Urban.
I love Carl Urban.
We know this. We've talked about this.
I know.
Carl Urban's entire role in this movie, let us be clear about this, is to look on from a distance and make perplexing faces.
Yes.
His entire acting career is done in his eyebrows.
It is.
His eyebrows make his paycheck. But in this movie, all he does is kind of sit at a distance and arch his eyebrows in ways that you're not even sure what his emotions are in that moment. Like, I'm not even sure he's conveying proper emotions.
Well,
you're just looking at him going,
He got the job of gatekeeper of Asgard because he's a dick, and he just went and took things. Look at my stuff. Behold, Scourge's stuff. And he's got a Vespa, and he's got all this armor, and he's got like 2 guns, Des and Troy, because when you put them together, they destroy. He's just an idiot. He is literally just an idiot. And then you've got he opens the gate, and he's trying to impress the women, and the dragon's head that was going to chomp on Thor comes flying through and coats everybody. I peed, not a little. I peed a lot. I was laughing so hard at that. And it just skidded across the floor. And again, it went on way too long. And then the eyeball rolls up. Oh, God. Everything about that. But this circles back to what we were talking about earlier. The guy's name is Scourge. Did his parents, a stonemason and a seamstress, expect him to be a good guy? Was he going to be the hero of someone's narrative? No.
This is like in Friends when they hire a stripper named Miss Crystal Chandelier, and Joey says, what did his parents think she was going to end up being?
There you go. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
we
they
see
get
some-
there. Loki's pretending to be Odin because he's, put Odin in an old folks' home on Earth.
Yep.
Like, that's the best part. He's like, well, where is he? He's on Earth. So Thor and Loki go to Earth. Taylor's ex and Chris Hemsworth go to Earth, and they're like, where is he? He's in an old folks' home that's being crumbled. So now they have to find him, and then they go and they meet Doctor Strange. But first, I love with these Avengers movies, it would be so easy for them to just ignore that all of these incredible major things are happening in public space and just ignore the public reaction. No, they go right into it on this, and there's these girls that want to take a selfie with Thor.
We're so sorry that Jane dumped you. She didn't dump me. It was a mutual dumping.
It was a mutual dumping.
Yeah.
So they're taking a selfie, but then they go and they find Doctor Strange, and that whole interaction happens, which is hilarious.
It's super fun.
Jules, why
I
don't
really
you talk
enjoyed it.
about that one? Because you seem like you were a big fan of the Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I didn't see
introduction.
anything. I didn't see anything about it in the trailers, and
Right.
you saw Thor at the end of Doctor Strange, and you're like, okay, that'll be the next interaction, but I didn't see it in the trailers, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it'll happen in the next Doctor Strange movie, but then Loki's been falling for the past 30 minutes, and Thor has this whole magic. What are you doing, wizard? Or stop doing that. When
Honestly,
he keeps like switching.
The
places.
jumping around was just hilarious. Like
Yeah, it was
that
super
whole
fun.
just
He's looking.
all of a sudden he's somewhere else, and he's spilling his beer because of it. And he keeps knocking into things. Oh,
It reminded me of Harry Potter when they just start to be able to apparate and disapparate wherever they want,
Yeah.
Yes.
and they just abuse it and just play with people.
like it made me
Yeah.
wonder if there was missing time for Thor. Like if they had already had this conversation, but Doctor Strange just rewound him for a second so he could get a different answer out of him, or like it was so cool to watch.
Yeah.
And I still don't, like, I haven't unpacked it completely. I still don't know exactly what was happening with that, but I loved it. Oh,
No,
I
and
thought
you
it
were
was so
saying like
good.
how they kind of gloss over this whole thing that the world around them is still going on. The world around them for superheroes is still going on too, and Loki appeared on Earth, and all of a sudden, Doctor Strange was like, "Yo, this isn't a good thing. I need to get him, and I need to figure out what's going on." So it does kind of play into like the world is still going.
Yeah.
Around this whole thing, and Thor's just kind of jumping back into Midgard as he knows it, or Earth now. But
Well, we even
it
touched on
was
that
really
a little
fun
bit
to
when
see.
when he talks to Doctor Strange, and he's like, "You knew my father was here. Why didn't you bring him back?" And I love that they addressed that. And Doctor Strange was like, "Well, he said he wanted to stay," and
Yeah.
so they had that interaction, and he this all happened because he knew that Loki was here, because he is now the protector of Earth. because all the other wizards are dead, but
Right.
you know, sort of by
He's
default,
the de facto,
but still.
yeah. But yeah, so I mean, this kind of just illustrates the difference between Marvel and DC. They have all these different movies going on, and there is a continuing story arc throughout all of them, and they can make them interact with each other, and they're picking up in the right time frame,
Right.
the right timeline, and they know where they stand in all of the other movies that are occurring simultaneously, essentially. And it's the planning is so present in this movie, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something that we haven't really touched on a whole lot yet. The big bad, sort of, in this whole narrative, the goddess of death. And how did you feel about that storyline, about how she painted Odin to be first off, she's the Odin's firstborn, the rightful heir, quote unquote, to the throne and all that stuff, how he banished her and locked her away, but now that he's gone, finally, that she can come out, and she was already on her way, and she gets her power from Asgard and all that stuff. How do you feel about Odin now, and how she painted the picture? Did she persuade you to think differently of what Odin was, or are you still on Odin's good?
No, I mean, Odin is not good. Odin was
No.
never really good. Odin was sort of a terrible character. I mean, he's this benevolent guy who in the Thor movies didn't do a damn thing. But, you know, from this, we find out he was a conqueror. Yes. I mean, that fits. That's consistent. I can see that happening. And that sort of explains why, to me, maybe why the world they live on is destroyed and falling into a black hole, and maybe why there's only like 2,000 people total. You know, it was neat. It was interesting. I did like it, and I thought that she was a really cool character. I loved the hair into horns thing that she did every time she got in a battle. She could summon flying swords and just attack anyone and everyone. She just ripped right through the Warriors 3. She ripped through everyone in Asgard that stood against her.
All the Valkyries back in the day.
All the Valkyries back in the day, except for the one that, I don't know, hid under the corpses of all of her friends. No, sorry.
Dude, animal instinct, play dead.
Hey.
Sure.
That's how it works.
But, you know, she was super powerful, and it was great to see that, and she had complete control over Asgard. So she comes in, she destroys everybody that she can find. Heimdall hides everybody else. They decide that Asgard is the people. We've been told she gets her power from Asgard. Thor is told Asgard is the people. He then decides to destroy the buildings they were living in. I don't think that had any effect on her power. I don't think she is any less powerful now than she was, because Asgard is the people, and she gets her power from them. I think she gets her power from the people. And so I think that destroying the world didn't do anything. I think she's still out there because there was a puff of green smoke just before she gets stabbed by that flaming Man Mountain sword.
Like the Wicked Witch of the West.
I
and
think
Wizard of
she's
Oz.
fine. I actually think that she's going to be the love interest of Thanos coming up. Because Thanos in the comics, Thanos, his whole thing is that he loves death, and he causes so much death to try to meet Lady Death herself, and she kept saying she was the goddess of death. I think this is Thanos' love interest. I think Loki stole the Tesseract from the vault before leaving Asgard. I think that's why Thanos came after them. And I think that that ship is going to get destroyed, or Thor, best case scenario, Thor is going to try to make a break, and Thor's escape ship is going to get destroyed because of what I've seen from the Infinity War trailer that leaked.
Yeah.
So I think that we're just going to lead right into the next movie.
Well, let's get back into the Hela character.
Hela.
Which
Hela.
the name is just all I could think of was slang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a different opinion of this because this maybe was my least favorite part of the movie was the Hela character.
Okay.
First of all, you talked about how cool her power was. What is her power? Is her power that she
death?
can summon weapons
Sure,
out of
why
midair?
not? But that's just it. Like, so Thor can do a lot of the same things she can, because he could, what Odin tells us in this was that his hammer wasn't that powerful. It was there to really help him channel
Right,
things.
he's the god of thunder. He can summon
But
lightning
I
bolts.
think
and...
that he could do the hammer come to the hand thing with any other weapon, and I think what she does is an extension of that.
But where are these weapons coming from?
I think she's
She
making them
looks
with
like
her
she's
mind.
just pulling them.
I think he can do the same thing if he really tried. He wasn't really unleashing himself. In
It
this.
was a weird
No.
power.
It was a weird power.
It was a weird power. I didn't necessarily buy the choreography. One of the things that I love about the Marvel superheroes, especially the female characters that they've introduced, is they do wonderful fight choreography. Black Widow
Yep.
is literally one of my favorite characters any film I've ever seen in a fight. The way that they do her fight choreography is so cool, and I think it's partly because Scarlett Johansson, whether she is or isn't, she comes off as a very athletic person. She has a fluid level of movement. I know some of it is CG, but she just has a fluid level of movement. Kate Blanchett just looked like an entirely CG'd character. She's
Sure.
too old. Sorry. Physiological age is what it is. She's a little too old for me to buy what she was doing, and that kind of bothered me. And then also, just the way she played her choices when she played the character. All I could picture was, this is a really bad guy version of Katharine Hepburn in Aviator. Did you remember? It's like, have you guys seen Aviator?
Wow.
First of all, it's the same facial expressions. That's what it is. She used the exact same facial expressions, the same smile as she did when she was Katharine Hepburn in the movie Aviator, which is a fantastic film. She was excellent in it. She played that character dead on, but it was like a villainous version of Katharine Hepburn, and it was weird to me. And there was not much of. I like the character. I kind of feel like I did about Blade Runner. I like the character. I like the foil that she plays. I didn't really buy into her power 100%, and I didn't particularly care for the way that Kate Blanchett played her. And I'm usually a big Kate Blanchett fan, so it just didn't work for some reason for me.
I mean, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I thought the choreography was fine. Maybe the actress wasn't up to it. But that fight scene when she destroyed the last of the Warriors 3 and she destroyed hundreds of the guards around her, that was just so spectacular to watch, especially when she got impaled and she just shrugged it off.
Yeah.
Like, that was powerful. That showed not only that she could be hit, but that it would have no effect on her.
Yeah, and I guess I think that's just part of the actress that played it. I look at what she was doing, and then I look at the actress that was playing it, and I just don't buy it. Like when in Guardians of the Galaxy, when Gamora, I buy those physical abilities out of that actress. I don't in this case. I think that's my biggest problem.
What about the actor that played Korg?
Fantastic.
Korg is my new favorite character in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was Taika Waititi, the director of the film. And Korg was by far the most spectacularly funny character in the
Super
whole
comedic. Yeah.
from his introduction to the little vignettes that they had every time he was on screen. Hey, Meek, are those eggs? And just all of that, like at the end when they're talking about Meek and he's like, oh no, man, Meek's dead. I stepped on him during the battle. Like all of that.
Well, we are introduced, everything that he says is in this really passe, like, who cares if it happens or it doesn't happen kind of thing. But our first introduction, hey man, I was going to start a revolution. It didn't work. Then you want to be a part of it? Any interest in that, man? I'm just going to, uprise against this entire planet. Care to be involved? What do you think? Like,
I didn't print enough flyers.
Yeah.
Only my mom and her
do enough
boyfriend showed up.
pamphlets. Yeah.
like, hey, maybe you want to do this, maybe you don't. I don't know. It's kind of like, do you want to go grab dinner at, Red Robin? Like, could you spend that?
Hey man, we're gonna go eat a burger. Want to come with?
Right, exactly. It was
just super
a
hard.
revolution in the balance and the freedom of thousands of people. And he phrases it in a way that just like, hey, want to grab some dinner, man?
Yeah.
It was so cool.
For me, it was just super hard to put that voice to that body for a little while because I was like, he's super relaxed, super like, just
Yeah, but
I don't know. But this is The
He
Rock.
would be too. There's nothing urgent about him. It's very, very sedate, very sedative. Now that's the word I'm looking for. Sedatives.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Sedatives,
everything about
yeah.
him was just spectacular. Every line was delivered perfectly.
Hey, that's Doug. Oh yeah, Doug's dead.
Oh yeah, I
Hey,
forgot.
you're gonna fight him? Oh, bye, new Doug. You're gonna die. Who cares?
Another day, another Doug.
So we're gonna get
But then
into some. Oh yeah, I mean it was.
Well,
it
we
was
get
all
into
really
the
good.
fight. Let's get into the fight, right? And,
Sure,
and
yeah.
In between, while Thor's picking up his weapons, Korg is kind of acting like his therapist.
Yeah.
You know, oh hey, it sounds like you're dealing with a problem. You know, like you had an intimate friend in that hammer, and you're just trying to get over that. And Thor's like trying to fight this real stuff, but he's like, that's pretty accurate. But no.
I'd just spin it really fast and it would pull me off. It'd pull you off? Man.
Yeah,
Sounds
the
like
hammer
you were
pulled
really
you
close
off?
to that hammer.
Right? So then he gets put in this gladiator fight that's put on by the Grandmaster.
Oh.
And how cool was it when we were introduced to the Grandmaster and Thor has been captured by a drunk chick? It turns out that the drunk chick is a Valkyrie. We found that out later. But he gets captured by this drunk chick, and he gets on a chair, and we think he's going through a ride, and they're playing the Willy Wonka music in the background.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
A world of pure imagination.
I mean, he's
Huge laughs,
strapped to
yeah.
a chair. He's being introduced to this planet that he's on, and the Willy Wonka music playing in the background. But then in 5 seconds, you'll meet the Grandmaster, and then there comes Jeff Goldblum. And how cool was that character?
Thor was so terrified.
He's
I'm
screaming like a
laughing
girl.
my ass off about
Yeah.
it. That was really funny.
But then there comes Jeff Goldblum, and he's just Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
the
It was just
Grandmaster is
Jeff
just
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
That was
He's
it.
doing the cool and pauses question mark
Yeah.
in his phrasing, and it just reminds me again of Friends references.
Yep.
When he was on Friends and he played that amazing director actor,
Oh,
and he's
God.
teaching Joey, like he doesn't want to give Joey the part. But he's like, all right, I'll give you the notes, and don't be afraid to explore not just the horizontal but the vertical, and he's just that's how Jeff Goldblum's playing this character.
Yeah.
He's like up, he's down, he's left, and he's right. I'm gonna melt you like with this stick, and it's cool, man. I love to do this.
Yeah.
And he's a
No.
DJ, and he's just.
They definitely knew-
The best part
Yeah.
was Loki's over there.
Oh.
And Thor's like, hey, you know, and Loki's trying to like play low key, and he's like, I've been here for a few weeks. What are you talking about? I just got here. And then the Grandmaster's like, yeah, time works a little differently here. In other worlds, I'd be 1 billion years old, but here, and he just smiles like, look at me, I'm ageless.
Yep.
And just plays
Yeah.
right into that. It was
Oh.
really cool.
That was great.
Yeah.
too.
So cinematically, I think the first, the first shot of Jeff Gold, they knew what they were doing with this,
They did.
and the
They
character.
played it
The
up
first
well.
shot was of Jeff Goldblum's full face, pretty much taking up the entire screen, and that was the first time we've had anything like that. I think so. That was super jarring, and we automatically knew that this was going to be a character, and this was going to be something. And Jeff Goldblum, and they just kept going back to that. That's something that stuck out to me. They just kept going back to the close up of his face and of him, acting with just his expressions, just as Jeff Goldblum does. and
Yeah.
and just the way he looks and the way he talks, he didn't need anything else, and it was definitely fantastic and a pretty interesting character, even going along until the second end credits scene where he's
Yes.
trying to take credit for the revolution that they
Can't have a
started. He's like,
revolution
good
without
job,
someone to
man.
revolt
Yeah,
against.
yeah, I
a
played a
tie.
really big
It
part.
was a tie.
So all the way through, that was just a fantastic character, and I really enjoyed it.
Very much so.
Let's get into something that stuck out to me was the music and the choices of music, which was super futuristic compared to this Thor character, which is a mythical god or whatever. Did that, that was almost, it was super like Stranger Things-esque, but it was something more. It was super now and new and fresh, and I really enjoyed the musical choices that they used in the movie. Did that?
I had it.
did
I had
y'all
it in
think
my
about
notes, Jules, as well. Like
Awesome.
when they go from Earth, or when they go to Asgard, and then they go to what is it? What's the name of the planet?
Sakaar?
Sakaar.
Sakaar?
They go to Sakaar. They changed the soundtrack, and the way I described the Sakaar soundtrack in my notes was Blade Runner-y.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
Like
almost
they
like
took
a
on-
theremin
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
They took on this futuristic kind of dystopian soundtrack that's familiar to us,
Sure.
and placed it here because that brings us. It just immediately brought you into the context of what this world is and where it exists.
Yep.
It was really really cool. That was a great point, Jules.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
Okay,
So
so,
then we
let's
get
get
into
into
the
some Twitter, because a lot of people had opinions about this, and there was a lot of responses to us on Twitter when we asked how you liked it or some of your thoughts, and one of them, the very first one that we got, was someone that really didn't like it, and I kind of wanted to discuss this. It was by @moviefan993. He says it was a mediocre mess. Visuals, CGI, cinematography, green screens, color grading are awful. The editing is awful. The script is a mess. So I read his. He writes reviews on movies, and he gave Thor, I think, like a 5 out of 10 because he does say that the CGI, cinematography, green screens, all that stuff, the way that it was made was very ugly to him, I guess. And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that, about if that jarred you. Were the green screens jarring or anything, or any of the colors? I disagree completely with this guy's.
Nothing that was green screened was jarring.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I have
No.
like, it freaks me out when something is out of place.
Sure.
Even the fact that they changed the scene from the alley to the open cliffs of wherever they were didn't bother me. Like, none of that was anything that really stood out. So I think this guy watched the wrong movie.
I'm pretty sure I read his review too, and I'm pretty sure you're right, Kevin. I've been trying to figure this out. He did watch the wrong movie. He couldn't have watched Thor Ragnarok.
No, he probably watched like a
Ragnarok.
pirated, no special effects version of it that leaked or something.
He watched
There's
the
no
porn
way.
version.
I mean,
of it.
I can
Yeah.
always count
Right?
on Kevin. So I'm like, I get sucked into the movie. So this is why I went and saw the movie a second time. I literally went and saw the movie a second time because I heard some opinions on Twitter and Instagram from our people, and I said, are they watching the same movie as me? So I went and I specifically watched to find times that I thought that the comedy might have gotten in the way, because that was another criticism. I'm sure Jules will read that. I looked for green screen and CGI issues. As a matter of fact, I was impressed with the CGI.
No, it was amazing.
The Hulk, when he's yelling and stuff, you watch his abs tighten in a way that your abs would tighten if you were yelling and screaming. So I'm looking for all these things, and I'm like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. And then I read his review, and tip, dude, watch your run-on sentences. Real problem. Very distracting. I kind of wanted to read your whole review, but I couldn't because 2 paragraphs was 1.5 sentences. So watch that. It's a problem. But
All right.
I watched for these things and I couldn't find it. But I know I get sucked in the movie and I get distracted. That's just, I'm an emotional person when I'm watching movies. So I count on Kevin because he picks up every glitch in animation that I can possibly imagine. Like when he tells me, "Oh, there was a problem here," I go back and watch the movie. I'm like, "There was a problem."
Yeah,
there.
I mean, there were 2 spots that I saw where they upconverted something to 3D, and the edges were a little fuzzy. That's about it. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't cry about this.
No, I thought the visuals were great, and I think that guy's crazy.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, and some more tweets. At the BD Pod podcast, backseat directors, friends of ours. It was an excellent movie, very funny, wry, entertaining, and everything I would expect from a Marvel film. Nerve takes itself too seriously, but my biggest takeaway: more Hulk. So they really enjoyed it. CNC Geekcast said, I enjoyed the comedy, but there was a little too much. It took away from the moments that should have had more heart. And there's been some of those ideas thrown around that there's too much comedy, that there wasn't enough character development or whatever. But it really, I don't know, it made it entertaining. I was totally cool with that. I'm fine with that. Like, I don't know why it was too much for some people, but it did feel
William said the
too much
same
for a lot of
thing.
people.
I'm going to read his because he'll probably be mad if we don't.
Oh yeah, I was getting there. He sent a long one, so
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, actually, no. Bite Sized Lemon had a similar criticism, I think. So on Instagram, Bite Sized Lemons, who is a friend of the show, said hilarious, maybe too hilarious? ? Sometimes the comedy got in the way of the themes of the movie. Still, I laughed from start to finish. Big fan of Taika. How do you say his first name?
Taika Waititi.
Taika, right?
Taika
I'm reading
Waititi?
that right. Taika. What we do in the Bifrost.
Yeah.
But so that go ahead and read Williams because he had a similar I think theme to his comments.
Yeah, so we got a long one now in 280 characters because Twitter let everybody get 280 characters. The best part, or from WW Sinclair, WW on Twitter, the best part of the movie, not spoiled by the commercials, is definitely Loki shouting, "That's how it feels when the Hulk is whipping Thor around
really
by his
good.
cape." That was super
amazing.
funny.
That really came out of nowhere.
Going on, why couldn't they keep Planet Hulk movie canon? Insert a few clips from the cartoon movie at the beginning as if the Hulk is telling what happens to him, and suddenly the Hulk becomes interesting, possibly enough to get his own movie again. But how are we supposed to get from the Asgardians keeping the Kree ship to the teaser? from Comic-Con, where Thor is floating in space and is struck by the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's from the trailer that they saw that's not released to the public yet.
Yep.
Thor went from fresh off the boat funny to Star-Lord funny. In doing so, I feel like they changed his character a little too much. I'm very disappointed by Marvel Studios' treatment of Meek and Korg from the Planet Hulk story. The Valkyrie was awesome, but I wanted to see Kyra.
Yeah,
and then
no,
there's
I'm
a
glad
whole
we
lot
don't-
more I can
I'm
read.
glad
but
we don't have Hulk's wife. That would have complicated the story. I'm glad we don't have Scar
By a lot.
Hulk's son. We don't need more of this. We need exactly as much as we got. Hulk.
I think
Banner
eventually,
throwing
yeah.
himself out of the ship onto the Bifrost and just squeaking across it dead, because he was trying to turn into the Hulk, was spectacular. And by the way, Bruce Banner is dead. There's no two ways about that. But that he came back as the Hulk is great. At the end, when the Hulk jumped up and started fighting the big monster, was spectacular. And Thor was like, "No, big guy, come on, we're leaving." That was the moment that Thor became Odin. Like, he is now the responsible ruler of these people. He recognizes that the people are more important than the battle. The people are more important than where they live. He grew. Like, you could see him grow in that fight, and he became what he needed to become. So I get what they're saying about him being too funny, and he was really funny in this movie. I don't think that's going to be a problem going forward. He's especially if his people now get destroyed in space, which I'm afraid is what's going to happen. He's going to be that like, dour, responsible character, and I think they can make that work.
And he was serious when he needed to be serious.
Yes,
when he got
very
into the
much so.
fight sequences and he needed to take care of business, he did. And I part of, again, what I went the second time and I tried to watch, because I thought this movie was hilarious. It was as funny, if not funnier, than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
And we have come to know Guardians of the Galaxy as a comedy movie. And I, again, as I said way back in the beginning, I applaud the people behind this movie for doing that. But I went and specifically looked for times where I thought the humor got in the way of the story. I couldn't find one. So for those of you who tweeted at us or hit us up on Instagram and say that the humor got in the way of the themes or the story, give me a for instance. I'm curious, because I personally couldn't find it. I thought the comedy kept it light where it needed to, and it actually made the action sequences engaging. I have a problem, maybe this is just me. When I go to the movies, the only time I ever fall asleep typically is in action movies. It's when all the buildings are getting blown up and the car sequence, car chases are going on, that I'm like not engaged because there's no character, interaction at that point.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of doze off. So when you lighten up the fight sequences with humor, it brings me in
keeps you
to the
engaged.
movie itself. And so I love that. And maybe that's just a preference that I have, and it takes other people out of it. But I would just love to know the for instances of when you thought the humor got in the way of this movie and brought it down instead of bringing it up.
Yeah. I mean, I know
so
we
we
have
have
a couple more things to talk about, but let's try to wrap this up. I wanted to bring up two things. I loved that Thor was responsible for Ragnarok at the end. I loved that this whole thing wasn't about preventing it, but about making it happen, and that was the whole point. I mean, it was such a powerful thing to watch him realize he had to do that, and that was just so good. And the other thing I wanted to bring up before we toss it to you guys to see if there was anything else we didn't touch on, we didn't talk about Matt Damon.
It's true. I forgot about that.
See, that's another part where I was just like, oh my god, that's Matt Damon.
That's Matt Damon. That's Matt Damon and Chris Hemsworth's brother playing Thor.
Yep.
And
Oh my god, that was fantastic.
it was just god. And
I love the Hemsworth brothers.
Yeah.
So Miley Cyrus was a musical guest on SNL this weekend.
Okay.
And they did a celebrity what's that? Price is Right.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah.
a celebrity was paired up with a regular person. And Chris Hemsworth was played by an SNL actor.
Oh god.
And he was on there, and he's being real funny. He's like, "Hey, man, yeah, I walked here. This is what I do. I'm really fit, and I like to eat healthy, and this and that kind of stuff." And Miley Cyrus is the regular person with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, kind of looking at her, and she goes, "Yeah, you're kind of cute. Do you have a brother by chance?" And then Liam Hemsworth comes out for mine. It was pretty funny.
Wow.
But I love those guys and the way they like to play with each other. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Just a few more a few more tweets. Redeem Bad Movie said, I loved it. I watched movies at the theater to be entertained, and this movie delivered big time. Scary Thoughts 2, this Thor, the God of Punder, ha ha ha, because it's super funny. The Remote Control podcast asked if the B storyline was more interesting than the A storyline, so I'm sure they're going to talk about it on their podcast. Some new listeners that left a review this week as well that we'll read later on. In the Hera Club Radio said, I did not kill Odin. I did not. Oh, hi, Thor. Like from The Room with Johnny Wiseau, or Tommy Wiseau. Yeah, just a bunch of cool people that talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you for interacting. We're going to be continuing the discussion about Thor Ragnarok and all the nerdy things that happened this week on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nerdy Things Pod, P-O-D, on pretty much everything. You can email us, nerdythingspod@gmail.com. Visit our website, nerdythingspod.com, for nerdy news, merch, links to our YouTube, links to our Patreon where you can get extra stuff, exclusive stuff. And if you want to reach out to us in a different way other than social media, you can text us or leave us a voicemail and we'll play it or read it on the show. So it's 978-78-NERDY. That's 978-78-63739. And again, we want to thank our sponsor this week, Espressivo Coffee here in San Antonio, Texas. Don't forget, you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook. The link to that will be in the description of this podcast or the description of this video. And if you mention the Nerdy Things podcast, you will receive 20% off your order. Again, Espressivo Coffee, mention the Nerdy Things podcast and you'll receive 20% off your order. I'd like to thank Adipsia for the use of his song Friends Don't Let Friends Go to TGI Fridays. You can hear more of his music at adipsia.bandcamp.com.
In view.
What's laughing over there? Oh, yeah. Shit.
Well,
Every
we were
time.
just Kevin and I were wondering if we were done.
We're done.
We're done?
For the most
I
part.
wasn't done. Okay,
I wanna-
I wasn't done.
Oh, you weren't done?
No, well, Kevin said he was going to throw it back to us.
Yeah, and then Jules
some
was
more
like,
stuff,
we got a
and
couple
then-
more tweets.
Shit.
and then you
I
ended.
just
And now-
started.
now
I'm
we're
sorry.
here. Did you have more you wanted to talk about?
Well,
One more
yeah.
thing?
So, like, just I mean, I guess, yeah. Okay.
Jules has to go.
I have to get back on my thoughts. So, all right, real quick, the fight scene, we talked about it a little bit,
Yeah.
but I thought the choreography, actually, one of my favorite fight scenes ever.
Yeah.
I didn't think it went on too long because it actually goes through different phases. You have the
Right.
comedy back and forth, Loki like trying to escape and then getting brought back in, but you go from hand-to-hand combat with weapons to a literal boxing match.
Yeah.
Like. And I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
real boxing match moves. Chris Hemsworth, throwing shots to the midsection, to the back, turn around, get him to the face. That was really cool. Just the way they got thrown all over the place, and then the lightning bolts was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I also want to say we had a strong female villain, which is really cool. Even though I wasn't necessarily a fan of Cate Blanchett's
No, but she was
portrayal.
still a powerful
I
villain.
love the fact that we had a female villain. I love that they're bringing these into superheroes. But let's not ignore that we had a strong female hero
Valkyrie.
introduced, somebody else in this universe. Now, I looked into IMDb. She's referred to as the Valkyrie.
Yep.
We never got her name, right?
Just
The feminists might have a problem with that. I hope we don't tear it apart too much because I think in general what we got was a really complex, badass female character. She had a past,
Sure.
a history as a heroine. She now goes down a road of becoming an alcoholic, apparently.
Yeah,
who
and there was
just
character
works-
development
drinking.
in that.
Yeah, works for her own gain to then. And this is another thing. Not only does she develop as a character because she wants to go back and save her people, but this was part of Thor becoming the king. He instills her faith again
Yeah.
by saying that I'm not into the crown. This is not for my glory. I'm doing all of this for the people of Asgard, and that's how he brings her back on board. But then she gets back in and she's just fighting, taking on anybody who comes at her, and she's a fantastic character. So I hope we see more of her in to the Avengers, not just the Revengers again. So yeah, I just props to Marvel for again continuing to introduce strong female characters into a predominantly male, demographic comic book stuff. So that's cool.
Sure.
Very
And
much
we also
so.
didn't give our last number. We always rate movies 1 to 10.
Yep.
So where is Thor? We had Guardians of the Galaxy around 10 or 11. We had
Yep.
Ghost in the Shell around 4, and other movies around in the middle somewhere. So where is Thor Ragnarok on our scale?
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I
Definitely.
got to go with Kevin and give it a 12. We have to change our ranking system.
Yep.
We've kind of in the past gone from Ghost in the Shell to Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's now Ghost in the Shell to Thor Ragnarok, and I think
Yeah,
Thor
sure.
Ragnarok is the best Marvel movie of all time.
Definitely. And I gave Guardians of the Galaxy a 10. They gave it 11. So I'm going to give Thor an 11 just because it is one step up. But yes, 11, 12s around the board for the new Thor movie. And again, you can reach us and all that stuff. I already said all that stuff. So
Yes.
and
I'd like to thank the Bell Curve for the music we use under the main topic.
Right on,
Awesome.
guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Let the video run for a second.